Paris is supposed to be the city of light. Golden streets, late-night cafes, beautiful architecture, a place people travel across the world to fall in love. But beneath all of that lies a second city, a city of tunnels, of silence, of bones. More than 6 million dead rest beneath Paris in a maze so vast that even today, only a tiny part of it is open to the public. And according to people who work there after dark, there's a reason nobody does the night shift alone. Because deep in the catacombs, there are corridors where footsteps echo behind you when no one is there. Voices that seem to come from inside the walls, and doors that guards swear they locked, opening on their own. Tonight, we're going beneath Paris, into the Empire of Death. And the strangest part is, the fear doesn't begin with ghosts. It begins with the history. The catacombs were never meant to exist. In the late 1700s, Paris had a problem. Its cemeteries were overflowing. Bodies were stacked in mass graves for centuries until the ground itself began to fail. Cellars collapsed, walls cracked. The smell of death reportedly leaked into nearby homes. Then, in 1774, a massive collapse on Rue d'Enfer swallowed buildings into the abandoned limestone quarries beneath the city. The city had no choice. Night after night, covered wagons rolled through Paris, carrying bones from overcrowded cemeteries. Priests walked beside them. Prayers echoed through the streets, and the remains of millions were lowered into the tunnels below. At first, the bones were dumped. Later, they were arranged. Walls of skulls, columns of femurs, perfect arches built from human remains. Beautiful, ordered, and deeply wrong. Now imagine being the person who has to lock this place every night. Most tourists only see about a mile of the official ossuary, but the full underground network stretches for hundreds of kilometers beneath Paris. That means behind the public route, there are sealed passages, old quarry shafts, collapsed tunnels, maintenance doors leading into total darkness. One former night worker described doing his final rounds after closing. The tunnels were silent except for dripping water. His flashlight passed over plaques, skull walls, and the famous warning, "Stop, this is the Empire of the Dead." As he reached one of the side gates, he heard footsteps deeper inside, slow, measured, like someone walking just out of sight. At first, he assumed it was an illegal explorer, a cataphile, people who secretly entered the forbidden tunnels at night. So he called out. No answer. The footsteps stopped, then started again, closer. He moved toward the sound. His light shook against the walls of stacked bones. Every corridor looked the same. Every turn felt narrower than the last. Then he saw something strange. Fresh moisture on the floor. Footprints. Bare human footprints. Too small to be boots. Too clear to be old. And leading straight into a sealed corridor. A corridor locked from the outside. He checked the gate. Still chained. Still locked. No sign anyone had passed through. But the footprints continued beyond the bars and vanished into darkness. When he told another guard, the older man just looked at him and said, "That's why we don't patrol alone." Now, whether you believe in ghosts or not, the catacombs create the perfect psychological trap. No sunlight, no sense of direction. The air is cool and wet. Every sound bounces strangely through stone. Even modern explorers describe hearing voices and movement in parts of the maze that should be empty. But one of the creepiest stories involves a maintenance door near an off-limit shaft. According to a local story shared by workers, guards kept finding this door open during morning checks. Every single time. No broken lock, no signs of forced entry. They'd lock it, come back the next day, open again. Finally, one guard decided to stay late and watch the corridor. Hours passed. Nothing. Just darkness and dripping water. Then, sometime after midnight, the handle moved, slowly, from the other side. The guard reportedly stood frozen. No sound, no footsteps, just the metal handle turning, then stopping. He quit a week later.
But the deeper fear of the catacombs isn't supernatural, it's the maze itself. Because once you leave the official route, Paris becomes something else, a buried labyrinth. Old quarry maps, hidden chambers, flooded tunnels, unmarked dead ends. People have gotten lost in the restricted sections before, including teenagers rescued after days underground. And that's what makes the next story so disturbing. A guard doing a late inspection reportedly heard what sounded like whispering. Not French, not English, just low voices overlapping in the dark. He followed the sound to an unlit corridor beyond the tourist section. When he reached the end, there was no one there. Just a single wall of skulls, hundreds of empty eye sockets, and from somewhere beyond the stone, one final whisper, right beside his ear, as if someone had leaned close and spoken from the darkness itself. He never told anyone what it said, only that after that night, he refused to work underground again. And maybe that's what makes the Paris Catacombs so unsettling. Not just the 6 million bodies, not the skull walls, not even the stories. It's the fact that beneath one of the most beautiful cities on earth lies an endless reminder of death. A second Paris, silent, motionless, waiting. The people above sip coffee under warm streetlights. The people below remain exactly where they were placed more than 2 centuries ago. And the guards who walk those tunnels at night, they know something most tourists never will. In a place where every wall is made of the dead, silence never really feels empty. The catacombs of Paris are beautiful, historical, and deeply haunting. Because somewhere in that darkness, past the official route, past the gates, past the warning signs, there are still corridors where even the guards refuse to go alone.